Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing a breakdown video from the AM session we seen on Friday. I'm going to make the silver bullet a lot clearer and do a very simplified breakdown video. So getting straight into it, which symbols do I personally trade? So personally at the moment I'm staying away from the forex market because futures is performing a lot better. The price action's a lot cleaner. Euro USD and GBP JPY for forex is usually what I trade, and these symbols have been trading sideways for absolutely weeks, and the price action on forex at the moment isn't that clean. Usually the price action in forex will be pretty good and futures price action will be like awful, and then vice versa, the futures price action will be good and forex will be shit. So what do I look for going into a silver bullet macro session? This is a simplified example of what we look for going into the New York session. Say we have a buy side level at this level here. We would look for price to reach up towards buy side, then sweep it, create a lower low, and then sweep it properly. This is called a unicorn model setup. And then we look for price to displace below this level here. So this here would be your displacement. So price has come up, swept buy side, created a short-term low, and then it's then swept buy side again, creating a unicorn model. This is literally a unicorn setup. Is something that I haven't explained in previous videos. However, I recommend you guys go search this model up on YouTube. Aligning with the silver bullet strategy, this model has like a 9 out of 10 success rate. And then you look for price to displace through this level. Once it's displaced through this level, you look for an entry inside of a fair value gap. So let's say we had a fair value gap here. This would be a fair value gap that you would enter off here. So you'd enter off this fair value gap, and then your target would be the opposing sell side liquidity. One thing I'm going to quickly mention is about our signals room. If you're trying to take your trading to the next level and get one-to-one support on your trading and improve it so you can actually advance to the next level, I will literally one-to-one any questions you guys have who are members of the signals room. I literally am talking in and out, explaining to them if they got any questions, breaking down charts with them, and also allows them to take the same trades as me and profit whilst learning ICT concepts. So this is one of the trades we took this week. Easy 1 to 2R, first TP smash, final TP smash. This was like a 1 to 2.5R, easy 43 handles profit. And then another trade here, we went long on NQ, first TP smashed, easy 49 handles profit. I'll leave a link in the description for the signals room. We're just killing it inside the group. It's going insane. We're actually gaining too many members at the moment, so the prices will be going up soon. So secure your spot now. It's only $1.60 per day. Here we go. So pulling up Friday's session. This is the New York AM session. So I've marked out here on the chart, here's the macro times which we look for our entries. So the New York macro AM session is from, we look for our entries between 9:50 AM and 10:10 AM New York local time. And the silver bullet macro, which ICT explains on his channel, runs from 10 AM to 11 AM. So any time between 9:50 and 10:10 is the optimal trade entry. But if you can find a A+ setup between 10 and 11 AM New York local time, then you would look to enter off that, and that would be a valid setup. And then for the PM session, it's from 1:30 PM New York time to 2:30 PM, and following with the London session, you got 3 to 4 AM. Getting into this New York AM session, I've marked out buy side and I've marked out sell side, and I'm looking for these levels to be swept, either sell side swept or buy side swept, going into the New York AM session. And then I'm going to look for, obviously, like I've previously just shown you at the start of the video, a displacement, a fair value gap, and either enter off the fair value gap or an order block or a breaker block, and then target the opposing liquidity. So let's see what we get. There you go. As you can see, buy side has now been swept. So you'd mark that out on your chart, buy side swept. Displacement will be below this level here. Now we can wait for a displacement. There you go. So we've just seen price displace below this level here. So now the market structure shift has occurred, and we're going to look for price to reach up into a fair value gap as we're in the 10 AM to 11 AM macro. We're going to look for price to reach up into a bearish fair value gap and then target the opposing sell side liquidity. And then also you can mark out this 1 minute order block as an optimal trade entry. But ICT explains in his videos that you enter off any fair value gap. So the first fair value gap you see, you would enter off it as long as it's giving you a valid and good risk to reward, then you would enter off that fair value gap. If it's giving you a poor risk to reward, then you would look for the optimal trade entry of the order block or the upper fair value gap. So currently the first fair value gap we have seen form is this one. and this would be a valid trade entry. And there you go. So you can see prices then come up to this fair value gap. It's only tapped it, but we enter off a tap. You have your limit orders. So you have your sell limit orders on the edge of the fair value gap. So then you would have been triggered short. You'd run your stop around the highs. So a valid stop would be anywhere around the highs. And then your final TP at sell side liquidity. This is a good trade. As you can see, we've got a risk to reward of a 1 to 3.5 R. So anything over a 1 to 2 R is something that you would take. Anything less than a 1 to 2 risk to reward, you wouldn't even bother looking at, or you wouldn't even execute anything below a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So let's see how this trade plays out. Easy as that. Final TP here, sell side liquidity swept. And that's the trade for the New York AM session. Alright, so here we have a London session example. So going into the London session, you want to head on to, like, say, the 15-minute time frame and mark out the key buy side and sell side liquidity. Once you've marked out the key sell side and buy side liquidity, you're going to drop down to the lower time frame and wait for the macro between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. to look for an entry. So you're either going to wait for sell side to be swept or buy side, and then you're going to act upon it depending on whether you get a decent sell or not. So let's see what we get going into the London session, whether buy side or sell side gets swept. Alright, as you can see, sell side has now been swept, and it's also displaced higher above this short-term low. So you're going to mark out that it has displaced through this level, and it has also swept the sell side going into the London session. And we also have a valid entry for a fair value gap. So price is displaced above this level, and it's left a perfect resting fair value gap, which we're going to look for an entry on. There you go. Price has then tapped into the fair value gap, so you would be triggered long. You would set your buy limits on the tip, on the edge of the fair value gap, so you would have been triggered long, and you would have your stops at the lows and then target buy side liquidity as your final TP. So final TP at buy side liquidity, and then you'd put your stop resting at the lows, and then let's see what we get. And there you go. So buy side liquidity has now been swept going into the New York session. And the final TP for our London session trade has also been triggered. And it's easy as that, guys. Simple, easy ICT silver bullet setup for the London session. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, drop a like, subscribe, and drop a comment as well, because I want to hear what you guys want for our next video. Every single Monday, we're going to be dropping a fresh video. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you want for our next video, and I'll add it in there. I'll take all the suggestions into account. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I just did my dirty, now I gotta change my sheets. She be rubbing on my body, sucking till my knees get weak.